For generations, Europe's giants, Germany, Italy, and France, were not just economic powerhouses, but true engines of global prosperity. They set the standards, drove innovation, and influenced markets worldwide. Their combined strength shaped the economic landscape we know today. Their factories, humming with activity, luxury goods, coveted around the globe, and pioneering social models shaped the modern world, offering a blueprint for societies seeking both prosperity and well-being. These nations were at the forefront, leading the charge in defining what a successful, modern nation could be. But today, a shadow hangs over this legacy. These economic stars are dimming, their brilliance fading in the face of new challenges. Growth has slowed considerably, a stark contrast to the rapid expansion of previous decades. Key industries are struggling to adapt, facing fierce competition from abroad and internal pressures to innovate. And young, ambitious people are leaving for better opportunities elsewhere, seeking brighter futures beyond their home countries. This brain drain further weakens the foundation of these once great economies. Aging populations and outdated systems are exposing deep cracks in the very foundations of their prosperity, revealing vulnerabilities that were previously masked by decades of success. Germany, once the undisputed industrial leader, now questions its industrial future, grappling with rising energy costs and a rapidly changing global landscape. Italy is stuck in stagnation, struggling to break free from a cycle of debt and limited growth. And France is torn between protecting its cherished workers' rights and staying competitive in an increasingly cutthroat global market. The old ways no longer work, and clinging to them only exacerbates the problems. In this video, we'll explore what made these countries great in the first place, examining the policies and innovations that propelled them to the forefront. We'll then delve into what's causing their decline, dissecting the complex factors that have led to their current predicament. And finally, we'll consider whether they can adapt for the future, exploring potential pathways to revitalization and renewed prosperity. Their fate matters to us all, because a weaker Europe means a different world, one with potentially destabilizing consequences for the global economy and geopolitical landscape. Let's dive into the rise and uncertain future of Europe's economic giants, tracing their journey from dominance to potential decline. The story begins with Germany, the continent's industrial engine, a nation whose economic fortunes have long been intertwined with the fate of Europe itself. Germany was once the undisputed king of European industry, synonymous with quality, precision, and power. Its formula-skilled workers, cheap energy, and world-class engineering. But now, that engine is sputtering. The loss of cheap Russian energy has driven up costs, making German goods less competitive. Meanwhile, China and others now rival Germany in advanced manufacturing. The Made in Germany label no longer guarantees dominance. An aging workforce and a shortage of skilled young workers add to the crisis. Germany's industrial strength is turning into a vulnerability. The country faces a stark choice: adapt or risk losing its place at the heart of Europe's economy. The next stop, Italy, where stagnation has become the new normal. Can Germany reinvent itself before it's too late? Italy's legacy is one of creativity, style, and post-war economic miracles. But for decades, its economy has barely grown. High government debt, outdated industries, and a deep north-south divide hold the country back. The black market thrives, draining public resources. Italy's population is among the oldest in the world, and its birth rate is alarmingly low. Young talent is fleeing for better prospects abroad, leaving behind a shrinking workforce. The result, a cycle of stagnation and decline. Italy's vibrant past now contrasts sharply with its uncertain future. Without bold reforms, the country risks falling further behind. Next, we turn to France, a nation caught between prosperity and the high cost of its social model. Can Italy break free from its economic rut? Or will it remain stuck on the sidelines of Europe's future? France has long cultivated a global image of sophisticated living, where the pursuit of pleasure and leisure is just as important as economic success. France built its reputation on balancing prosperity with quality of life. It's a nation where the afternoon is for enjoying a coffee at a sidewalk cafe, not just grinding away at the office. Generous social protections, including comprehensive health care, robust unemployment benefits, and extensive social security programs, a short work week, famously capped at 35 hours for many, allowing for ample personal time and strong public services, from efficient public transportation to accessible healthcare and education, defined the French model. These elements have created a society known for its emphasis on well-being and social equality. But this balance is under strain. The forces of globalization and economic competition are challenging the sustainability of this cherished model. High taxes and rigid labor laws, designed to protect workers and fund social programs, make it hard for businesses to grow and hire. The regulatory environment can be daunting, especially for small and medium-sized enterprises. Attempts at reform spark fierce protests, as citizens fiercely defend their hard-won social rights and benefits, trapping the country in political gridlock. The deep divisions within French society make it difficult to achieve consensus on necessary changes. Young people face high unemployment and limited opportunities, leading to frustration and a sense of hopelessness for some, prompting many to leave, seeking better prospects in other countries. This brain drain further weakens the French economy. Meanwhile, the gap between the wealthy elite and the rest widens, fueling social unrest and resentment. France stands at a crossroads, a pivotal moment where critical decisions must be made about its future. Modernize its economy or risk losing what makes it unique? Can France embrace innovation and reform while preserving its cultural identity and social values? The challenge is to adapt, to find a new path forward that balances economic competitiveness with social well-being, without sacrificing the values that define French life. The commitment to social justice, cultural heritage, and a high quality of life are deeply ingrained in the French psyche. The struggle is real, and the outcome is uncertain. The path ahead is fraught with challenges and difficult choices. France's dilemma echoes across Europe. Many other nations face similar pressures to adapt to a changing global landscape, but there's a deeper problem all three countries share: a demographic shift that poses a significant threat to their economic stability. An aging population. This demographic reality places immense strain on social security systems and healthcare resources. Germany, Italy, and France are all facing a silent crisis. Their populations are aging rapidly. Fewer young people are entering the workforce, while retirees are living longer. This shift strains public finances, slows economic growth, and leaves businesses scrambling for workers. Healthcare and pension systems are under pressure, and the social contract is fraying. The younger generation faces higher taxes and fewer opportunities. Solutions like boosting immigration or encouraging higher birth rates are slow to take effect. For now, these countries must find ways to thrive with a shrinking, older workforce. The demographic challenge underpins many of their economic woes. It's a problem that will shape Europe's future for decades. And it's driving another trend: the exodus of young talent. The brain drain is accelerating. Europe's best and brightest are leaving for better opportunities abroad. High unemployment, rigid job markets, and slow economies push young people out of Italy and France. Even Germany struggles to attract and keep top talent, losing ground to more dynamic, English-speaking countries. As young doctors, engineers, and entrepreneurs depart, innovation and growth suffer. The cycle is vicious. Weak economies drive talent away, and the loss of talent weakens economies further. To reverse this, these countries must create jobs, reward innovation, and open up their economies. If not, they risk becoming societies of the old, with their future built elsewhere. The loss of youth is a warning sign for all of Europe. Next, let's compare how each nation's unique struggles shape their decline. Germany, Italy, and France share common problems, but their industrial crises are distinct. Germany's challenge is external, losing its manufacturing edge to global competitors. Italy's is internal, fragmented industries and a failure to modernize. France's is ideological, a tug-of-war between state control and global competition. Germany must innovate to stay ahead. Italy needs to scale up and embrace new technology. France must reform without losing its social soul. Each country's decline has different roots, so their solutions must be unique. The fate of Europe's giants depends on how they confront these challenges. Their choices will shape not just their own futures, but the future of the continent, and the world is watching. The struggles of Germany, Italy, and France ripple across Europe and beyond. Together, they make up over half the Eurozone's economy. When they falter, the entire European project is at risk. Weakness in these core countries threatens EU unity and global influence. Political tensions rise, and the dream of shared prosperity is tested. Globally, a struggling Europe is a less reliable partner and a weaker force for stability. Protectionism and fragmentation could follow, hurting the world economy. The decline of Europe's giants is a warning. Even the strongest can falter. Their story is a lesson for all developed nations facing a changing world. The final question, can they reinvent themselves, or is this the twilight of Europe's economic power? Germany, Italy, and France, the historical powerhouses of Europe, stand at a critical crossroads. Their decisions in the coming years will reverberate far beyond their borders. Their past glories are undeniable, a legacy of art, innovation, and global influence that has shaped the modern world. These nations have been at the forefront of culture and progress for centuries, but their present is fraught with deep structural challenges that threaten to undermine their standing on the world stage. Economic headwinds and shifting global dynamics are creating significant pressure. Aging populations, with fewer young people entering the workforce, stagnant productivity growth that lags behind other major economies, and relentless global competition from emerging markets demand bold action and innovative solutions. The old ways of doing things simply won't suffice. Yet each country still has unique strengths, assets that can be leveraged to navigate these turbulent times. Germany's renowned engineering prowess, Italy's rich cultural heritage and artistic innovation, and France's enviable quality of life and global influence. The real test is whether they can harness these assets, adapt to the changing world, and reinvent themselves for the 21st century. Can they transform their economies and societies to meet the challenges ahead? One path leads to adaptation. Tough reforms to streamline bureaucracy and foster entrepreneurship, embracing new technologies to drive productivity, and renewed economic growth that benefits all citizens. The other path is stagnation, clinging to the past, resisting change, and facing a slow but inevitable decline in global relevance. The choices they make now, the policies they implement, and the investments they prioritize will shape not only their own destinies, but the future of Europe as a whole and its role in the wider world. Will Europe's giants rise again, reclaiming their position as global leaders in innovation and prosperity, or become museums of past greatness, admired for their history, but no longer driving forces in the global economy? The answer will define the next chapter of the global economy, influencing trade, investment, and geopolitical stability for decades to come. The world is watching and waiting with bated breath to see which path these nations will choose. The future of Europe, and perhaps the world, is being written right now in the decisions made in Berlin, Rome, and Paris.